are going to let Superintendent do her message and then take a break. She's has an obligation in a few minutes, so we want to make sure we get that done, and then right after that, we'll take a quick break. Jamie Workman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Teeing up Jamie Workman. Jamie, if you're nearby and want to start with the art. If not, Ryan, I guess we'll launch. Slide 3. Okay, today I thought I would really focus on the characteristics of the vision when we talk about our board vision of academic and organizational excellence in Utah education and the characteristics therein. I want to highlight these three that I think are really tied together: participate in civic responsibilities, pursue personal goals, and embody strong moral and social values. And I want to do that from what I've observed in our schools over the years, particularly this time of year, in the way our children engage in service. For a lot of our schools, they do things like food drives and clothing drives and things to help during the holidays, but many of our schools engage in service throughout the year. Last year, you heard me, for example, talk about the work of Clearfield High School and how so many of the students who have needs of their own are most proud of their what they call their school spirit that's wrapped around the spirit of service. And they earn so much money that they work with community organizations to give to families in need. And that so deeply touched Dr. Norman and I when we were able to be there and witness that. So we tried to capture a number of photos that, and I'll tell you kind of after you see this short vignette, some of the work behind this, but we'll see if we can launch that. And thanks to Barb Fuentes for putting this together, and Ryan as well. Thank you, Barb and Ryan. So I want to drill down on some of these opportunities that you saw through pictures. One picture was of our students at the School for the Deaf on the Salt Lake campus, and their teacher, Jasmine Taylor, reported that they collected and donated approximately 13 big boxes of coats, hats, gloves, etc. to give to the road home, and that they do service projects all throughout the year. Uinta School District has updated their district strategic plan to add service as a core value. And their schools have been developing age-appropriate service learning plans for all of the students. And the plans have already had an impact on the students in their community. They have a Hope Squad and a Suicide Prevention Walk and a number of things that have been recognized by Utah Jazz owner Ashley Smith and First Lady Abby Cox. They've donated almost 4,000 pounds of food, and the list goes on. So really embedding service as a core value throughout Uinta District, they're really seeing it pay off as just a norm of the way the students engage. In Alpine School District, you saw pictures of Legacy Elementary Food Drive in American Fork, and in Orem, a clothing swap that a number of their schools engaged in for the winter months. Ogden High School, we showed a couple of videos of making blankets and a clothing drive and food drive, and their students who were involved in Latinos for Action tutor students at nearby elementary schools on a weekly basis. And a couple of things that have come out of that program: it provides positive role models for younger students and helps ease their transition to high school. It really alleviates some of the anxiety because they've been interacting with these high school kids already. Jordan School District, they really focus on service in many of their schools, but the high schools get pretty competitive, just like they do amongst themselves with sports. They have service competition. So they really try to outdo each other with service. And last December, they raised $625,000 among their 6 high schools and provided money that went to nonprofits to help with domestic violence support groups for families, granting wishes of local children battling severe illness, supporting devices for students with disabilities, therapies for children and veterans working with horses, and holiday toys and gifts for Utah families in need. Those are some of the things that the kiddos came up with as ideas to use that $625,000. So I love that that is just as competitive as maybe their sporting teams. In Cache County, another group of Latinos in Action work with third graders specifically. And I love that the principals from all 3 of the schools where they're doing this work say that it's the kids at the elementary schools just look forward to it. And it's the highlight of their week to interact with students from the junior high or the middle school rather at South Cache Middle School in Hiram. So well done, South Cache Middle. And again, I could highlight every single school in our state, but I'm highlighting a few. Across Davis District, there are all sorts of food drives. Entheos Academy has service at the core of their mission. I know that Chair Moss, I think you attended their service fair this year. I went a couple of years ago and get invited. Member Davis has been, probably others of you have been. And it's amazing to see that the students at Entheos are really focused on their community and how they can give back. And it can be something as simple. I remember their projects were some like really big things, and sometimes just simple things like mowing my elderly neighbor's lawn, which is a really big thing for that neighbor and the student. And I loved hearing how service had changed their lives. I was with a group of teachers from Walden Charter School, and we were talking about how service is such a part of what they do. And I love their mantra of Walden believing that engagement in service learning is an integral part of education. And they have this day of service that's coming up, so I wanted to highlight it on December 20th. I'll be attending. And the Day of Service is an annual opportunity for students to put service learning into practice. So it's part of their curriculum, it's part of what they do, and they do a lot of small things. But then on this Day of Service, the entire school parses out all over the community, and they've done things, I've been told, from cleaning out corrals to delivering food to the food bank to sorting cans. So sometimes the work isn't pretty, but the kids really love it. So I'm excited to go participate with them on the 20th. So I did just want to highlight a number of these schools from Salt Lake to Cache to everywhere in between, of the way that our elementary, middle school, and high school students give back. I failed to mention one that I love. Bonneville Elementary School in Salt Lake City has a Socktober, where in the month of October they gather socks for the men and women who are unsheltered and in some of our homeless shelters. So it just, I think it changes hearts and minds. There's a lot of great, research around how service can really not only change our hearts, but really change our brain chemistry when we engage in it. So there was a bill that came out last year. There was a pilot program, and this pilot program was really championed by Lieutenant Governor Henderson and others, but she's talked about this a lot. And I had the opportunity to meet with her and hear her vision about integrating service into all of our schools. So this bill is a pilot to try and get at that, integrating a culture of service. And it's not apart from what schools are currently doing, but it's inclusive of those activities, and then provides opportunities for the receivers and the givers to reflect on how it's made a difference in their lives. Those LEAs who have been selected to participate, they are able to use the money to help them hire personnel to provide structure and integration until they can measure the outcomes. And the schools that were selected for that are Sevier, Nebo, Garfield, Granite, and Mountain Heights Academy. They're the ones that put in an application and are receiving the money. We'll get more metrics in January. I think a lot of the work has been done this fall, but they've been very excited about it. So we'll report back when we hear more. UServe Utah was tasked in helping run the program. They are called out in the bill. You have representatives. You have a representative on UServe Utah. I am named in the legislation around UServe, but I designate a staff member. And when I've attended UServe, which I love to do, we hear about so many great things going on in the needs. But in terms of this grant, here are the things that the pilot program can pay for. And you can see the list there. I won't read through them, but basically, these are the qualifying activities and how it can be integrated into the school through clubs and organizations, after school or out of school extracurricular. They can do it right in the classroom, like we've seen with some of the examples today, or student leadership organizations. And I've seen service play out through all of those different ways. Last but not least, I want to thank our board members, all of you. As we bring this discussion of service to a close, I really appreciate and admire the work that every one of you do every day on behalf of our students. I know that a time that you spend on phone calls, emails, conversations, trying to deepen your understanding about issues, and truly serving your community. Watching you go through elections is painful, so I can't imagine what it's like for you when you're out there on the campaign trail. I hear you talk about the joys of meeting constituents and the challenges of election, and that in itself is civic engagement. And I just want you to know that on behalf of all of our staff, almost 400 people, we see you, we hear you, and we recognize you and appreciate all of the work that you do on behalf of our children and their families and the adults who serve them. And I especially want to thank our 4 outgoing board members, whom I so appreciate. And I'll send you private notes so that I don't end up emoting here. But just really wanting to recognize the 4 of you and thank you for your service along with all of you. And with that, I see a light on, I think, for Member Hart.
Yeah, can I? It's a point of privilege. We have a celebration today. Dr. Norman, will you stand up, please? All right. This is Dr. Norman's last board meeting. And on that note, I want to make sure that she is recognized for her tireless service. She started as a teacher, math, and after attending Weber State, and just did 100 million jobs. It looks like you've done them all, I think. Digital leadership or the digital coordinator, math specialist, curriculum director, but most of all, she brings her heart and her brain to work every day for the students of Utah. And I just, on behalf of the board, want to thank you. And you have earned every moment of this retirement, and I know you've got so many things planned, you're not going to have any free time at all. But just wanted to make sure that you were recognized and you heard our thank you. I'm actually not done. I also want to.
Before you go there, Member Hart,
yes.
Can I just say that you're all invited? I think you received an invitation to an open house as we wish Dr. Norman happy trails on January 3rd. So go back and search your email. We can have Kelsey resend it. Just want to make sure you all knew that you were invited to that. Thank you.
Thank
Vice Chair
you. Thank you. And I'd like to recognize Vice Chair Earl. I'm not going anywhere. No, you're not going anywhere, but you have served this board tirelessly in so many ways that are not seen. I know no one that works harder, and I have learned so much. This is on behalf of the board. Again, this board has no idea the level of love, care, concern, thought that that Vice Chair Earl brings to the table every single day, no matter her role. So just want to make sure that you knew how much we appreciate you. All right. Now we're going to have to change our agenda. Oh, what's that? Oh, yes. Yes, but first, we are going to adjust our agenda. Just so you know, after we do the art, where's Jamie? Come on up. But I know people are seeing the clock, so we've got a plan, and after we do art, we'll talk about some adjustments, okay?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Workman. I am the BTS Art Specialist on staff here at USBE, and it's my honor to present what we have this month, which is the Utah Tech University region, and it's a showcase of the intersection of arts and education through engaging performances and innovative projects, while partnering with charters and teachers in the Washington County School District. In honor of Veterans Day, teachers Cassie Flinder and Horizon Elementary and Bryce Weber at George Washington Academy Charter School have led the students in a moving tribute celebrating service and sacrifice through music and performance. Crimson View Elementary Chris Sewell created a captivating, and this is one of my favorites, glow-in-the-dark experience to immerse the students in a world of creativity and light, fostering imagination and expression while integrating different adaptations like bioluminescence that animals use to survive. Desert Canyons Elementary Courtney Giles helped students create a dynamic dance project highlighting the beauty of life cycles, blending movement and storytelling in a compelling way. And you can view the dance performance by scanning the QR code that is on the wall. Additionally, the program extended its reach to the community with a science and art night at Horizon Elementary, where students explored the connection between scientific discovery and artistic creation. These projects exemplify the BTS Arts program commitment to integrating arts into the curriculum, enriching students' learning and personal growth. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, yeah, I think you guys probably need a 5-minute break too, right? Okay, everybody's saying, yes, it's time. I think we're going to try to, do you want to try to do audit or wait? Okay, we're going to try to do the consent calendar and then go into executive after that. Just while we have people here, sometimes we end up with people online on Friday, so this just makes it so we can get into that. That's what our plan is, and then the rest of the items we did indicate that they can be carried over to tomorrow, so.
But we will be going to 7:30, so we'll,
Yeah.
Because that's our stated end time. We'll go to 7:30, because then we can eat. So we'll do the consent, executive, and then we'll go back and do as much as we can until 7:30.
Okay, all right, take a 5-minute break.